Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get started here in just a second. Alrighty, I think we're all set. Sweet. All right, so we'll jump into a couple different things. Let me try to actually increase it just a bit. Where to start? That's the question. Well, I guess we'll just do what we normally do. Start with the market as per usual. So first things first, market is still into a sell signal. Don't believe we flip back the market positive. Let me just double check. Yep. So market's still in a sell move and or a bearish market. Neutral to bearish, however you want to say that is fine by me, but ultimately market is bearish. Um, you know, so until the market gets back over this SMA, market's going to be what we say is in a sell signal or into a bearish market. Now, the market broke down obviously last week here. That's where he mentioned you're obviously bearish. Since then, market had one of its worst days in a couple months. Who cares? That's what always happens when the market goes into a sell signal. Things go down, news flips bearish, etc. So yeah, I mean that's really just it. So we're gonna go back swing long the stock market when we get back to positive. In the meantime, you could be bearish futures, you could be bearish options if you want to. Um, you could not be bearish anything. You could just be waiting for the next buy move. That's pretty much where I'm at now, is waiting for the next long move. Um, I might do some TQQQ, things like that, SQQQ, inverse bearish ETFs. I'm not in any of those right now, but yeah, I mean, this is at this point, it's just a game of if you want to bet short or if you want to wait till the next buy signal to go long. I mean, that's really where we're at. That has to do with more with like macro trading, stuff like that, not necessarily short-term scalping. Obviously, short-term scalping, you can do whatever the hell you want, whenever you want, wherever you want. But as far as swing trading and things like that, and it's kind of what we're focused on here is in that specific moment. Yeah, we're just not ready for anything. Also, last week when the market was on that high is when we noticed the VVIX popping up, so we could kind of tell that institutions were hedging for downside protection. Uh, before this drop even happened. So, like that's what I'm waiting on, right? I'm waiting to see when institutions are removing their hedging positions from the market. We can go back long. When the volatility index breaks down, we can go back long. So we're really just going to be pretty much on these streams in this waiting game of for the next new signal, which is either going to happen on the VVIX, VIX, or SPY. Until then, markets are just on the negative side. I wish I had more to say that would be like more entertaining or more fun, but I mean that's the truth. I mean, once you get to this level, it is that simple. And when I say once you get to this level, I mean once you realize that the stock market literally operates along one simple moving average, then I mean there's not really a ton to say, right? It's just either you're positive or you're negative, right? And if you're negative, then you can bet bearish or you wait for the next buy signal, right? So I'm waiting for the markets to get extremely oversold and I'll start buying early, or I'm waiting for the next buy signal and I'll start buying up. Um, as far as Bitcoin goes, Bitcoin's down to 93,000. As we mentioned, it was going to enter a bear market in this October of 2025, specifically the date of October 13th. Bitcoin's now going to be down somewhere around 20% from the all-time high, give or take. So that's analysis is so far proving correct. It's kind of unfortunate because now we're all just losing money essentially, but It's always good to be correct in terms of analysis, I guess. So yeah, we're now down about 26% or so from the high. So yeah, it's a bear market, and it did in fact start this October, which is also pretty crazy. So yeah, we're just again long-term bearish Bitcoin. We are short-term not long bias the stock market. Surprisingly, there's nothing on my scanner here with Thinkorswim for penny stocks this morning, which I was kind of surprised about. It's not usually the case, but it's all good. So there's only I think one. Which one was it? Wow, that's right. Doesn't work like that. Yeah, there's gonna be like one. Not there was one stock, but there isn't a ton. Yeah, everything I looked at today so far, it's extended away from support. So the way I see this morning is as far as penny stocks goes, any sort of those trades, is basically you're putting on a trade, you're hoping that it keeps going up because if it doesn't, you have a backtrack. So to put it simply, pretty much going to be looking for bounce trades for penny stocks going into today's trading session because all of the ones that I looked at so far are not near breakouts. They've already broken out and they're extended away from support. So I don't see breakout trades in the immediate. Not that something can't change while I'm looking at another screen, but as I went through my quick scans this morning, nothing is breaking out in the exact moment that I wanted to buy. Everything is extended away from support, so there's no dip buys. So I'm pretty much in the waiting game for penny stocks this morning until something sets up that's either low risk or starting a breakout or an uptrend. I didn't find any. So just means we're just kind of in a waiting game for penny stocks this morning. Um, I don't really didn't see it. I didn't look for economic data this morning. I don't really know if there is any. Give me a second. Not that, we'll just see. Monday, the 17th, Empire State Manufacturing Fed Chair, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. All right, cool. So there's really no big economic data things that would catastrophically, destroy the market or something. So not really thinking about economic data today as any sort of catalyst. I'm just assuming the markets are probably going to continue to go down. I mean, if they start bouncing, that's great. But like I said, whenever we're below the 30-minute regular trading hours, 50 SMA, you have to just assume down. That's it. Eventually, it's going to bounce. Eventually, it will bottom, and eventually, it will turn positive. But when is that? I don't know. You don't know. Why don't you know? Because again, you don't control the stock market. Other people do, or we all do as collectively as a whole. I don't know. But either way, is you don't control that, right? And I haven't seen anything on the volatility indexes or the volatility of volatility that would suggest otherwise, right? So again, I can't sit here and basically tell you anything other than I've already told you, which is we're just kind of in the waiting game, right? Now someone could be like, all right, let's bet bearish. It's like, all right, you could bet bearish, but you have to remember that your sell move started here where the arrow's at, right? If you try to start going short now, you're starting here, right? We have a low down here and you have your SMA here. So it's like you're kind of shorting in the middle. You're not shorting at the start of a breakdown, right? So you're not you would be late to starting a swing short on the market, and you would just have to hope that it keeps going. So basically, the same thing I said about the penny stocks this morning is that this is the same thing, right? We can just think of this as a short, right? So if this was a penny stock this morning, right through the SMA is when the breakdown slash the breakout happens. So there's nothing that's currently breaking out in this penny stock world. Everything is already broken out and they're all extended away from support, which is the SMA, right? So you either shorting, taking on the risk back too, for the hopes that it just keeps going down, right? So we're in a waiting situation. Not that there's not going to be short-term movements in plays, but as far as the swing market is concerned, we're a little late on that. Well, I mean, we're not really late. We're just this morning wouldn't be ideal. We talked about being bearish the market on that day, then on this day, etc. Was even looking for maybe to stay bearish on this day, but it just turned into a mega bounce, which once we figured out it was just going to be bouncing, that was fine. But so yeah, I know. Hope super exciting, super exciting. Cheers, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. So when I go back swing long the market, I'll let you guys know. Again, that entry could happen during the after hours. It could happen during the day. Don't really know. It's whenever the market's ready and whenever the market tells me I should buy the stock market long, I'll do that. So it's not me making the decision, it's the market telling me to make the decision, right? So when that day comes, I'll try my best to let you know. But again, remember, it's not me letting you know, it's the market's letting me know, which you could just, watch the SMA trend, watch the VVIX, watch the VIX, and you get the same signal essentially. But like I said, I'll do my best to try to let you know. Super duper busy day here in the chat. Super duper busy. It's going crazy. Yeah, I do apologize for my kind of, maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know, kind of boring demeanor, if you will. I don't know. I guess just don't really get, just don't get that excited about markets these days. You know, you do it for so long, it's just kind of a repeat of the same thing over and over and over. Um, and I enjoy it. It's just I don't want to be too boring for you guys, but like I said, there's not once you dial it down enough that again you kind of simplify it and revise it and simplify and revise and next thing you know, it's after all these years I found myself basically looking at one simple moving average. That's it. Well, that's not entirely true, but that's the foundation of pretty much my entire strategy these days is literally 150 SMA. That's it. I use standard deviation, yes, but that's only when the markets are oversold. That doesn't happen as often. Um, or overbought, volume weighted average price a bit. But all basically just stems from finding out when something's in an uptrend or a downtrend. That being said, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get a coffee, maybe a little water. A little water. Feeling a little parched this morning. Hmm. All right, yeah. A little lacrosse tournament. Very nice. I remember playing lacrosse. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, those are good days. Oh boy. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what kind of day we get. Probably not going to be anything crazy. Yeah, you never know. All right, sorry about that. Let me bring up our pre-market stuff here for a second. Yeah, so we'll just anchor a view up to the top here, like that, like so. Pop it on like that, and then we'll pretty much just, again, mark it as long as it's below that VWAP. Then, generally speaking, the trend is still predominantly down via the pre-market. So, yeah, pretty much as long as we stay below that, market can kind of still sell to the downside. And when I say that, I mean it's all variable, if you will, but again, simplest way I can say it is every morning, anchor VWAP, pre-market high, pre-market low. It's a magnet and a continuation level, you know. So this drawing is the best way to explain it. Just like this. At some point, markets are generally, no matter what, the market is always going to come back to this VWAP at some point. It doesn't matter, right? It's just a matter of when, not if, right? So regardless, this is pretty much what we think. That or two and above. That's it. So in an in a nutshell, we're going to stay essentially optimistically bearish, especially if the market is finding resistance and or staying below top down 30-minute volume weighted average price for the day. It's 9:25. Get about 5 minutes to go. We have five more minutes. We have 5 more minutes. I cannot see myself doing a whole lot this morning for the time being. Real quick, just a thought for you, Geish. So right now, oh, excuse me. Right now, since the market is broken down, I do not have any position that's long the market in like as far as like SPY or QQQ or whatnot or UPRO and what have you. So I am not involving myself in the market right now on my Roth IRA account, my swing account, if you will, because the market is negative. So I'm not long bias, right? So I am neutral to bearish. So I have no long on the market currently as it relates to swing trading, and I will go back long at some point, just haven't done it yet. So I am not involving myself in any of this market decrease, right? So people that buy and hold, then, you're involved in that. Um, Buying and holding the different thing. Actually, let me rephrase that. If you swing trade, right, and you're holding right now, then you're just holding while the market's on a negative trend, right? So I'm avoiding this decrease of the market, and we will go back when the market's either really oversold and it just makes sense to start buying the low, or until we flip back to a swing long market, right? So I'm just kind of in a waiting game for my next swing position. We're just not quite there. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. I'm just gonna keep like behind the scenes, I'm just gonna keep flipping through some penny stocks and see if anything gets to a good buy point today. Also, do remember that pretty much this high, right? Like so like Friday's high and top, that was our sell signal VWAP resistance, counter trend target, etc. So we'll just throw that on real quick. Just so everyone's pretty clear on this guy. So just like that. So you see how that VWAP comes in right there. So again, that's another part of the strategies that we teach and we talk about all the time. They're very pretty much, well, yeah. So anyways, this is just a 30-minute sell signal VWAP. So that's pretty much all it is where the market topped and broke down through the 50 SMA, market's bearish, blah, 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 blah. So that's the VWAP of the current sell signal, right? So what's the market do on Friday? It just counter bounces back to the volume weighted average price of the current selling algorithm in operation and then down, right? Now, it doesn't always find resistance. Sometimes it reverses up and so on and so forth. But ultimately, your first thoughts are down, right? So, anyways, that's that. So, yeah. Now, let's see. We have a gap down today. So, if the SPX follows the gap and actually goes down, then that means we're going to be looking for SPX to drop out to 6,695 or so, give or take. So the target of today's downside, if algorithms basically run the gap and go, is going to be to where that arrow is pointed to. All right, so essentially with the market being down, you just got to pretty much just let it go down for the time being. So far at the open, the Magnificent Seven are down. Advancing declining issues are down a bit, and SPY issues are kind of flat. So it's not like things are screaming up, nor are they just selling down. Volume on the market's up, but still below the zero. So it's not super bullish volume, nothing yet. S&P issues just putting a new low on the day. Mag 7 are just basically flat. Advancing declining issues down. Volume meh. We have the Magnificent Seven still holding up, two green candles, helping prevent the market from going down in this moment. Or I don't want to look at Google, I want to look at QQQ. All right, QQQ, nice little bottom. Obviously, again, you have the Magnificent Seven holding up, pushing up, hard for the market to go down. Also, do remember that our counter trend target for the day will be the 30-minute VWAP. So whether that wants to complete now or later, that's just pretty much what ends up happening. Advancing declining issues down, but Magnificent Seven stocks up, so market won't go down until those get weakness. That's pretty much it. So based off of what we're seeing so far is they're basically controlling the market with the Magnificent Seven is the way that I would read. So as long as the Magnificent Seven are held up, stock market will not go down this morning until those get some weakness. So until we start seeing weakness on those, just assume that the market's not gonna sell off for the moment. All these things can change pretty quickly, but if you're looking at the markets in real time, it's exactly what's happening. Hmm. Yeah, VIX and VVIX are both still positive. There's no signals there that would tell us just to buy the stock market long, so we're just seeing it get propped up right now. Hey, look at that. And the market goes up. Who would have thought? Hey, market's going up more. Who would have thought? Hey, market's gonna go up into the 30-minute volume weighted average price area or close to. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Oh, wow, wow, wee, wow. And there goes the market pushing up more. Who would have thought? Crazy. We're not quite to the 30-minute volume weighted average price area, but we're getting there. Should arguably just keep going. Well, not just keep going up, but it should go up a little more there. All right, well, as far as that goes, that's pretty much like the first, well, the early morning counter long push back to VWAP. Did I know that it would happen that fast? No. Did I know it was going to happen exactly like that? No. But again, pretty much every single day, the market has two options. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. Ideally, you just try to do your best to find levels at which it should go to, regardless of whether it goes up or goes down. Market opened up. We could see that the stock market was being held using mega cap stocks. Without those going down, market wasn't going to go down. It was probably going to go up. So from there, we just start looking up to try to find areas where it should go to, one of which we know, volume weighted average price, VWAPs, 30-minute time frame, pre-market top. So that long trade and that long idea is done for the day. Job well done, folks. That's how you do a good job at predicting the largest traded globally or largest globally traded ETF in the entire world. Cheers. Thumbs up, people. Yay. Be proud of yourselves. Be proud. Be happy. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. We're all done with our early morning long trade idea. And now, market can really do whatever it wants. Just waiting for it to go back into its next buy signal. So we'll see when that is. Or if the volatility index tells me to go long, we'll start going long. But that hasn't happened yet. So, and actually, now I'm thinking about it, it's maybe not too far off. Hmm, maybe the 15 minute. Oh, actually, hmm. You know what? We did just start getting a breakdown a little bit on VVIX, but that's only the 15 minutes, so that's can be a little sketchy. It's not as reliable. Part of me wants to take a little long on the market because I'm seeing that. When I say a little long, I mean like actually maybe thinking of adding to a swing long. But that's because I see that the volatility of, well, I see VVIX is breaking down its 15-minute. That sometimes can work, but it still can be like sometimes it works great and you catch a really early long move. But then on the flip side, it's not the best confirmation. It's still kind of early, confirmation metrics, but what to do? I mean, I mean, I guess I could start a little something, and if it goes down, I'll just whatever. It just is what it is. You're just gonna have to work it. So I'll start something small. Even though the market already kind of blew up on this long, I might wait for like some sort of pullback just so that you're not buying into like just instant 1 minute volatility, but we'll see. So we'll arguably start taking some small shares on UPRO, grabbing some 3 times leverage ETF on the long, and this is more for like swing. This has nothing to do with day trade. Um, just an FYI. So I could very well be too early, and I know that. So I'm positioned accordingly for the idea that I'm just honestly too early. And if so, that's completely fine because I have enough capital that if we drop out 10, 20%, I would just honestly just like that's what I mean is I've started with the position that if it just the market just got demolished, then it wouldn't matter, right? So I'm taking a position where I'm comfortable if things drop quite a bit anyways, and it that won't really matter, right? And then if in the event we truly go into a buy signal, then we can add up, right? So right now I'm adding in the sense that I'm seeing stuff that could be early signals, but I'm not quite sure in that sense. That's why it's small. And then if we end up confirming more and going into a legitimate long move, then I'll just add more. But I have to make sure that what I'm starting with won't hurt me if I'm wrong too much, if you will. So, yeah, we'll see. Again, like I said, I'm seeing volatility break down on the 15 minute. So that tells me that in the immediate, institutions aren't really scared of the markets going down, if you ask me, or there's less hedging going on in the market. Um, Granted, these things can all change, but what I'm reading on the VVIX is maybe um, slightly reduced hedging going on in the market, so not as much fear right now. Does that lead into fear getting removed and then we actually trigger a bounce? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. What the worst case scenario is that, well, for instance, for the long I just took would be that this 15 minutes just it's too short of a time frame doesn't really lead us to the 30-minute and 30-minute volume weighted average price from the pre-market high ends up becoming resistance like it can. And then this becomes a high a day top. That would be like the worst case scenario for me, which there's a good chance that happens too. Right. So like that's the part of it is right now we've we finished our intraday 30-minute counter trend long, right? Back to here. It just so happens that we're running into this 30-minute resistance as I'm getting some of these signals on the VVIX. So it's like, yeah, VVIX might be telling us that, trend is people are less scared in the market, but at the same time that's happening, we're running into the pre-market 30 minutes. So it's like there's kind of a couple strategies colliding there. It just so happens. But, you know, I'm well prepared for either result, which is either the market has continuation or the market tops here. All right. So what you're seeing right now, like I said, is the 30-minute volume weighted average price for the day, and this could very well become a top, and then this could also very well become a high a day if it wants to. I'm not saying it's going to, but um, like I said, this is just a 30-minute VWAP zone, and so far what we're seeing is what we would typically expect, a reaction as the market runs into it, right? So the opposite reaction is a pullback, right? Does that pullback lead to a corrective top? We'll see. If not, then maybe we start going higher once we achieve acceptance above, etc. Now, part of the reason why, like I said, I wanted to get long here, not that I want to get long on top of this whole move, right? It was because I was looking and looking and looking, and I just saw that the VVIX started getting below its 15-minute trend. Now, again, like I said, these signals are very early signals, but I decided what the heck. So if this 15-minute trend ends up creating a 15-minute legitimate breakdown, then that could be the start of like a long move, right? And One thing we would look for is, like the VIX here. The other thing too is the VIX. So the VIX is still a little more fearful than the VVIX, but that makes sense because the VVIX leads the VIX, right? So you can see like the VIX is still over its 15 minute, right? It's not below it. If you look at VVIX, it's below its 15-minute levels, but if you look at the VIX, it's not, but that's how that works. But so like the next thing would be like maybe seeing this VIX come down, express, you know, optimism by getting below its 15-minute. And then one more thing. And if the 15-minute on the VVIX breaking down was legit, then that means the market would sell all the way down to this, well, not necessarily right now, but it would sell to the 30-minute, right? So these are all the things we're following right now is whether or not we can get the VVIX to break down, get the VIX to break down, start really boosting this long. If not, and these are all false 15 minutes, then we're just going to basically end up topping on the market here and going down, right? So that's why I started a smaller position so that in the event my trade is wrong, that's fine. And I already know why, it's like if you ask me, there's no questions like left unanswered, if you will, right? If we top right now, it's like, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. We're into the 30-minute volume weighted average price. We're still in a negative territory. I'm just trying to use some signals that are getting created on the VIX to be long in the sell signal, if you will. So, anyways, you guys do whatever you want, you know. Don't listen to me. I don't know anything, honestly. So, yeah, don't really have anything to do now. Now all I can do is just cross my fingers and pray. Also, for us, it would be a good thing for our long. When I say hour long, I mean just really, when I say hour long, it would be like the long discussed on the stream, right? But anyways, it would be in our best interest, anyone's for that matter, going long for the VVIX to stay below this 109.44. Staying below the 109.44 keeps the 15-minute negative, right? So this has broken down, it's done a little bounce and it's gone like that, right? So if it keeps going, that's great. Market goes up, if you will. Not necessarily, but better chance. And then as long as we're not getting above there and kind of staying like that, then that's beneficial for the long on the market. The other thing too is this morning, like right into the open, right before the open, you heard me saying like the only thing left to do is just let it go down, right? And then look at what's happening. It's just going straight up, right? So, that's kind of like first thoughts, right? We're in a sell signal. Market's been going down all morning. Yes, we have counter trend targets back to the 30-minute VWAP, but that's only when the market starts to bounce, right? Is the market going to bounce? I don't know. I have to wait for the market to kind of open up and start reading some of these things. So, while we're in a sell signal and while things are going down, yep, we just got to let them go down until they find support, right? Um, just like right now, you just gotta let it go up until it finds resistance. Does it find resistance here, there? Again, that's always a thing, right? So like right now, what do we see? We see in the market the advancing declining issues have been going up over the past 5 minutes. If we look at the Magnificent Seven, look at this little ticker box here that I'm scrolling into on the left. You can't really see that. I mean, you probably can, but um, come on, or not. Oh, that's cool. So this guy here, right? So if you look at the market, the market's been going up, right? Look at your mega cap stocks. They're all going up. So we know the markets, if you want to call it manipulation, because a lot of times people do better with, calling things manipulated as far as, learning, right? Let's just say markets kind of have a design and have a control to them. Then yeah, right now we're controlling the stock market today with the mega cap stocks, right? We're basically we'll say it this way, we're manipulating the mega cap stocks upwards, and as a result, we're manipulating the stock market higher today, right? So if you want to know how we're moving the stock market higher today, one of the ways would be we are propping up and or buying up the mega cap stocks, right? Yeah, people are probably buying options, right, on the long side. So now, dealers hedging up, right? Or you maybe got some people buying futures up, et cetera, right? So everyone's playing their role in this, but at the end of the day, how markets are truly priced is based off the underlying equities at the end of the day. Yes, technicals obviously play a role too, but what I was getting at was yeah, a lot of it has to do with underlying equity. So we can clearly see that we are moving the Magnificent Seven or the mega cap stocks higher today. When your major market cap stocks are putting on gains, then it's generally hard to take the stock markets down. So when I started seeing that this morning, what was the first thing I started saying to you? Couple minutes out of the gate. Hey guys, we're holding the mega cap stocks. If we're holding those, the stock market's most likely not going to sell off. It most likely goes up, right? And so far we've been going up, right? So it took me a few minutes to kind of get into the open for the day and go, yeah, I know we're in a sell signal, and I know that means it's a neutral to bearish market, but are there going to be signs that tell us the markets are going to bounce within the bearish market? Oh, none of the mega cap stocks are selling off. Yeah, market's probably not going down. There you have it, right? So how are we moving the equities when we're in a negative trend and or a positive trend and so on and so forth? Stream is going crazy today. Stream is going crazy. Absolutely bonkers. Oh my goodness, why is the market going up, guys? Can we just stop? Can this thing just slow down? Nobody wants to make too much money in their investment accounts this morning, right? So you got to swindle it back down, eh? I mean, come on now. People's 401ks don't want to go up, right? Like, what? Why would they want that? Literally everything this morning is just mega cap. All right, I want to, sometimes I say that and it's not entirely true. It's a very watered down simplification of things. But I mean, the reality, I mean, it's for the most part, it's true. I mean, literally look at this. Look at the S&P chart here in the upper left. S&P composite advancing issues, declining issues, just like flat. Look at the advancing declining issues, the NYC flat. Look at the stock market volume flat. Then look at the mega caps up. This is simply a manipulation of mega cap stocks up and driving up the stock market. And it's not even whether you want to call it it's just it's control, really is what it is. It's just literally you have a handful of stocks right there. We're running them up, and here you go. The largest globally traded stock market in the world goes up, right? It's almost a joke at this point. It is almost a joke. All right, let's go back, take a look at the VIX. I'm assuming the VIX, yeah, is gonna, yeah, okay. That is good. That is good. So you can see the VIX has now come down to the 15-minute trend. Remember, we talked about that a little bit ago. So yeah, next thing you'd want to see is the VIX come down to the 15-minute trend, arguably break that. So now we're watching the VIX, and the VIX is 15 minutes. So now the VIX has slid below the 15 minutes, got two options, which is either to keep going down or not. So if it doesn't keep going down, it's going to first bounce back to $20.20. And then obviously, if we recover that, that's a different story. But basically, that's what's going to happen. But yeah, for the long to keep going, right now we would want to what is going on this morning with scanners and stuff? I don't know what's up. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, to see the markets keep going up, you would want to see the VIX break that 15-minute down and stay down. So ultimately, if we're going to see the market continue to go long in an easy manner, then you're going to want to see the VIX stay below that 15-minute chart like that. If it starts to recover, anything like this, then the long will get paused. And that's not entirely true because it's only a 15-minute time frame, but as far as uptrends and downtrend stuff goes, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what you'd assume. There's the VIX 15-minute chart back testing $20.20 as we said it would. Now, again, that's not like really anything that spectacular. I mean, it's not very hard to call something like that, but that's literally just how computers think and algorithms think. And so, yeah, it's kind of obvious, but if you don't know what to look for, then maybe it's not. But yeah, so there's your back test. And now, obviously, if it stays below, that would be good. If we don't, then it's going to break over and you're going to see the market put in a temporary top or something. That being said, you know, the uh the VVIX did signal that we're kind of there's less bearish hedging going on in the market in the immediate, if you will. And that signal started back here, right? So this is where that signal started. So what time was that? That was at 9:34, 9:35. So about 5 minutes into the open, we could see that there was less bearish hedging going on in the stock market today. And so I assumed we would want to be a little bit more upsided for trading purposes and maybe even the opportunity of starting a little bit of a swing move. It's kind of early though to call that. Like I said, it's a little early. So if I'm lucky, then we're right. If I'm not lucky, then typical. Crazy busy stream this morning. Everyone's going crazy in the chat, just going wild. Got to start paying for those bots, or else no one will ever talk. Hmm. I just got a text message. Connor, trade alert. Who is this trying to pump their bullshit penny stock? Let's see. It's most likely some. Let's see. It's like I can't remember. It's like you have no idea who got your number, whatever. CSE. Yeah, I can't even find this ticker. I don't even know. Perfect example. Literally. Market cap of AIML. That ticker doesn't do anything. Yep, as expected. Some bullshit penny stock you can't even find the ticker symbol of. No thanks. No thanks. You should probably seek out Jesus. Whoever texted me. Bitcoin just doing what Bitcoin do. Oh yeah, by the way, obviously you guys can see the market's kind of stalled out a little bit and blah blah blah. And what is ended up, what did we tell you is, you're looking for? We'll bring the VIX down, see how the VIX, you can see it perfectly right there. See how algorithms work. As we said, you'll probably see a little bit of a temporary top if the VIX pushes back over 2022, right? Because that would be the recovery of the 15-minute algorithm. So what happens in real time? High frequency trading computers stop going long, top the market a little bit there, blah, 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 blah. You'll get that point. Now, over the next couple days, for the market, we would like to see, well, this is pretty much what we'd like to see. We would like to see VVIX sell all the way off to that 30-minute trend, right? And then we would like to see it break down, and then the market will go screaming back into a long. That's pretty much it. Does that happen? I have no idea. Will it eventually happen? Yes. Will we be here for the day that it eventually happens? Yes. Right? It's just when. Nobody ever truly knows. Hence the point of you have to sit and be patient and watch the market because the market will eventually tell you. Sometimes it plays games, but the market's always the one to tell you, right? It could happen in the after hours. It could happen during the pre-market. It happen when I'm not streaming. It could happen when nobody's streaming on YouTube. It could happen when I'm sleeping, you're sleeping. So again, it's the market that tells us, um, essentially, right? And so I can tell you all the things that if this happens, this will happen. But I don't know if those things are going to for sure happen exactly when, they're always going to happen, but it's when, right? So like I just said, if the VIX, VVIX sells to here, which is a common thing, so it's likely that we would see that at some point, and then it breaks down, which it normally does, and it's a very common thing. Then yeah, the market's going to go screaming up, just like it does every time that happens. Does it happen today? Does it happen over the next 2 days, 3 days? Does it happen in a week and a half from now? Maybe, you know what I mean? So just like back here, right? So what happens? VVIX sells all the way down to 50 SMA, then it bounces, and then it comes here, and then it breaks down. And on that day, the market's screaming up into a long, right? And then on this day, the market's pulling back. And on this day, the market's going long. And on this day, the 2 days, the market's going down, right? Right, and now look at today. Look at, see, this is going down and markets are going up, right? If this sells off to the 30-minute and goes into a sell signal, markets are going up, right? So it's the process repeats all the time. It's just, kind of exactly when are we doing these things? Is always kind of more of the question. Man, gonna have to go to Fiverr and pay some dude from Bangladesh to install some bots on our YouTube, or else never speak to anyone for the rest of my life while I stream. Hmm. Hmm. Alrighty, and there goes the market topping out a little bit. Again, are we surprised? No, not really. Why aren't we surprised? Because we know what? Oh, VIX. We know the VIX is just recovering its 15-minute trend instead of breaking it down. So as a result, short-term market does what? Tops the SPY. So all you're seeing right now is really just the VIX holding what? 15-minute trend support instead of breaking it down, as we already talked about. And so what this ends up doing is what? Selling to support and holding, right? And now what happens to your market? Your market tops out. So what's that mean? It just means the sell signal is still underway. Market's not fully ready to kind of reverse, and that's completely fine. And as a result, market tops. No big deal. Same old, same old. And now, this is kind of the perfect example you're witnessing, right? Is trying to um beat the system, if you will, right? So what do we know? What do we always preach? Actually, let me add something too. There's a view app right there. Yeah, 30-minute view app there. But anyway, so what do we always talk about? Which is until the market is above the sell signal VWAP or the 50 SMA, the market doesn't fully reverse up, right? Now, sometimes you can get some early signals using the VIX and whatnot and blah, 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 blah. And we kind of tried a really, really early one today. Didn't, obviously, it's not working good enough. But again, very straightforward. This is what I always tell people, right? Unless you understand what your risk is and why you're doing what you're doing, then your best bet is to always do what? Wait for the market to go over the SMA, right? So over, market goes up, right? Once it's below, you're neutral to bearish. Above, up. Below, neutral, bearish. So I just took a long here because I think that I'm smarter than the system, essentially, is what I'm saying, right? And many times you're humbled, but like I said, I'm going long here because of signals on the VVIX. But anyways, that being said, that's why I always kind of preach the simplest thing you can do is just wait for the market to go over the SMA and then go back long, right? So I'm trying to kind of do some stuff today where I'm getting in a little early because I'm seeing stuff on the VBIX, right? And that's a little bit harder to gauge for the average individual who doesn't watch this system over and over and over every single day of their life. So anyways, that being said, um, yay. We're just gonna, it doesn't even matter. I could, the market could go down 20% from here and it still wouldn't matter with the long I have on. You know what I mean? So, which basically means if the market goes up, I'm not gonna make a lot of money anyways. I would need more size for it to be a meaningful trade, but I'm just weaseling my way in, right? And if I was correct on my early signaling, then cool, I get in a little early. And if I'm not, it can go down 130 points from here or $130 a share and it will not matter, right? So I'm just very protected in that sense, but that's also because I don't have a lot of money at risk with this current play. That being said, I'd like to be putting more on, but I haven't been given a good enough signal to do that yet. What time is it? It's only 10 o'clock? Sheesh. I'm gonna start playing some Slither IO or something. Ah, gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Do you drink coffee? Yes, I do. Hmm. Hmm. Paul to Timothy, we're looking for Bitcoin to go down to 50K or so, give or take, maybe 55 or so on and so forth. But yeah, so we're I just dollar cost average Bitcoin a couple times a week, and I've been waiting on a big dip buy for, well, at this point, 3 years or so, 3.5 years, it feels like. So, you know, I do always sound confident in my analysis and stuff, and that's because I see my analysis and stuff play out too many times over and over and over. But that being said, I am, you never know, but my projection is we're basically going to be going down for the next year and a half, and we're going to look for a big dip buy leading into the beginning-ish of 2027. So, pretty much in my opinion, and I hope my opinion's wrong, because if it's wrong, that means I make money. If I'm right, that means I'm about to keep losing money. So. My assumption is that everyone thinking they're going to buy a dip and get away with it is going to get smoked for the next year and a half until 2027. So, everyone that's on YouTube telling you to buy the dip, everyone on Twitter telling you the optimism that we're going to shoot up to 190,000 in the next 3 months, or that this new artificial intelligence model is saying there's a 35% chance that Bitcoin goes up, or whatever random articles come along. I think they're all wrong. Um, that being said, I hope they're right, but I think they're all wrong myself. Um, yeah, so I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, then I'll stop losing money. If I'm right, I'm going to continue losing money on my positions, and that's going to be painful to watch, as always is. But it's the same thing. You're having fun, you're all cheerful when it's going up, and you're seeing all the gains get put on, but you have to be willing to accept the exact same opposite effect, which is down. So yeah, I think Bitcoin's going to go down for, until 2027 or so. It's going to go down. I mean, it's going to have its ups and downs, right? But I think we're going to have underperformance until 2027, and then in 2027 we're going to be buying the dip. And it depends too, because it's kind of like, does the price level we want to buy at come first before 2027? That's another thing. I'm like, well, because I'm talking about a price point, but then I'm also talking about timing, right? So there's also, sometimes it's, well, did do we hit the buy point before 2027, and then the low risk buy actually happens in the end of 2026, and we start to bounce leading into 2027, but then the bounce doesn't truly take off until sometime in 2027. So that's where my mind's at. My mind's pretty much at, we're all going to see our positions get clapped for the next year and a half. And yeah, hope it doesn't happen, but I'm prepared for it. I'm already mentally prepared. You know, and the other thing too is, like when 3 years ago you're like, yeah, Bitcoin's gonna go up, and then in October of 2025 it's gonna top out and go into a bear market, right? And then you sit for 3 years, you watch it go up for 3.5 years or whatever, and then you're sitting there like, all right, it's like you're tapping your wrist where your watch is at. All right, here we go. October is supposed to top. It's supposed to be a bear market, right? And oh, snap. It's November and we're down 25%. Okay, maybe you kind of have at least some skill, right? So, the fact that we've actually entered a bear market in this November coming off of October. And, this is something that I discussed and reviewed very significantly 3 years ago. Now it's all happening. It's like, well, maybe I should probably keep listening to myself a little bit until I'm proven wrong, right? So this is kind of one of those moments where I hope I am wrong, to be honest. It's a double-edged sword. You hope you're wrong, so it keeps going up and you don't lose money, but then you hope it goes down because then it's going to be a good buy. So it's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. But anyway, so there's all that. That's fun. That's good stuff. Um, you know. And so that's the other thing too, is um it, it's been fun, the fact that I 3 years ago I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go into a bear market in 2025 in October, and then it happens. You can't look at the markets the same anymore. Every article you'll read is like, well, that's just a bunch of garbage, right? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's the AI. Oh, it's the government shutdowns. Like, shut up, right? Like, none of this shit was here 3 years ago when we said it would top in October of 2025. You know what I mean? So it's like that's why when I look at all these articles now, I'm just like, this is just the biggest BS. Like this is such a joke. Or even I'm not saying Michael Saylor is probably eons smarter than I am, right? But he's probably right. There probably are people that are shorting his stock and betting down and all this stuff, right? But it's like, you know, stock starts to underperform, stocks aren't doing good, and now it's short sellers' fault, and it's this fault and it's that fault. It's like maybe it's just literally Bitcoin's just meant to go down, and you're just getting the repercussions of being or owning and having a stock that's like, you know, maximum leveraged Bitcoin. Like no shit, your stock is getting smoked. Like obviously, you know. That one, you definitely don't need Elon Musk to explain. That one's pretty simple for even someone like me to understand. All right. And I am by no means a genius. I'm just a hard-headed Italian dago who just never stops. Just like to keep trying, just drilling my head until it makes some sense. So yes, you buy the dippy dippy of Bitcoin in 2027. Not now. Or well, you know what? Don't actually listen to anything I say. Just do whatever you want to do. But don't listen because, yeah, I don't, just don't listen to anything I say. Just do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Chat is going crazy on YouTube, man. We could be here streaming for 7 years at this rate. What's going on with gold this morning? Oh, what a turd. Come on, gold. Go up. Do something fun. Be cool again. Make gold great again. Yeah, I mean that's what I do. I buy Bitcoin 3 times a week. Don't even think about it. And then yeah, when it gets smoked all the way down to, yeah, ETF approval levels, then we'll just be loading the boat again. It's like I don't know for sure if Bitcoin's forever just gonna be the mammoth that it's always been. And again, these are all the things you don't know. But one thing we always know is that our government will print more money tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's like that is a for sure guaranteed. It will not stop, right? Like we can hope for it to stop, just like I can hope that my analysis on Bitcoin is wrong and it doesn't go down. Like we can hope, but so far, history and the evidence all points to Bitcoin's going to go down and your government's going to print trillions more, right? It's unfortunate, but we can almost say with 100% certainty the government is going to print more money, right? As a result, home prices up, grocery price up, Bitcoin price probably up, right? Stock market prices up, optimism down, laughability skyrockets. So, anyways, that's that. And we're all just kind of chilling here, caught in the middle of it all. So, you know, turn your front yard into a garden. I was actually thinking about that. That would be so cool if you could create a business model that essentially turns people's front yards into little, like, automated farms, vegetable farms. Next, like most households have fresh fruits, or well, fresh vegetables that can be grown in their climate, I guess, for that matter. Fresh veggies and fruits. Um, that would be sick. Next thing you know, people got good food, no chemies, no pesticides, things like that. Next thing you know, they're saving money on groceries. Next thing you know, they love having a garden in their front door, front yard. That would be sick. Next thing you know, Kroger's all pissed off and they're boycotting you. And then Walmart and the Waltons are sending armed people to your house at weird hours of the night, trying to get you to come outside when you're in your boxers, eating a thing of Haagen-Dazs. And I'm like, actually, I think I'm all right. I'm gonna finish this ice cream in the house and call the police. But that's just a dream, you know. Well, what a fun, exciting day it's been. I know you guys wanted a really crazy day, but that's just not what the market's offering today. We are in a sell signal. We have not been given clearly good enough signals for the markets to reverse into longs. So we're just continuing to do the lower low, lower high scenario in the current selling operation. And until the VIX breaks down or the VVIX fully breaks down, the markets are not going to reverse into a long, which means the long that I bought today is going to go red. Actually, it already is red. And it's going to continue going red until I either decide to sell it or just average it down. And basically, my intentions are right now is just going to be, I mean, I could take a small loss, or I could just be have some more fun and just let it do what it do. So I'm just gonna let it do what it do because I'm not even scared. Why? Because I already know the stock market's gonna go into a buy signal eventually, and when it does, they're just gonna buy it and it's gonna go up. So I don't. There's no need to be fearful when you already know that the market just goes up and down over and over and over constantly until the end of time. So I'll just wait for the next buy signal, buy some more, and the position will go green. It'll be easy. All right? At least it's supposed to be. So there's that. On that note, I will be right back. Don't start talking too much. You wouldn't want people to actually interact in the chat or anything. That would be crazy. I have made it back. I am back. We are back. And I'm just gonna be chilling. And like, this is a very laid back, easy stream. There's not a lot to say. We don't look for bull flags. We don't search the internet scouring all day. There's no need. But actually, I probably should have taken a better look at some of these penny stocks. Eh, eh, nah. What is this frick piece of junk? Hmm. Actually, she kind of got a chance, but we'll need to wait on that one. I'm not even gonna mention it until it's decent. Don't wanna, you know. Now that one, see, yeah, I mean, like I said, I should have actually been paying closer attention to some of these things today, but I wasn't. I was just kind of chilling. There was actually a couple decent ones. It's okay. I can't really say it's great. There's a couple decent moves today so far. This one's kind of meh. It already took place. Happened. Hmm. Well, I was right. We were waiting on a bunch of dip buys today. I just kind of wasn't really paying attention. I mean, there hasn't been a ton. Come on, stock market, go uppy. And then we make money. Please. Ooh. Hmm. I don't know about that. Hmm. 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 Oh boy. Dun, 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 mm, 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 mm. Hmm. Damn. I know. Super exciting day. Super exciting. Man, these people take forever to get quotes back to you. I got some HVAC quotes done a couple weeks ago. Feels like now a week and a half. And it's just like, oh, so I guess people don't like money anymore. It's like I'm just trying to spend money. Like nobody wants it. Like, come on. Who who wants the money? Take my money. Mm, 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 mm. Busy morning, busy morning. I know, folks. It's just crazy. How can the markets just be so lively today, right? Ooh. Uh, uh. Da, da, da. Don't worry, when I see something cool that I like, I'll let you guys know. But until then, I actually reading an inspection report. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Well, what a busy day it is here. So many questions in chat. I can't keep up. I've just been answering questions all morning, you know? Dang, the market's going down. No. Well, obviously, we probably know the news is most likely bearish. Let's just take a quick peek, though, just to confirm what we probably already know. All right. All right, so Dow falls as Nvidia slides. That was maybe 7 hours ago. Stock market struggle for direction. Nvidia's big week, Warren Buffett's new stake, Jeep something turnaround, Wall Street on hold in run up to Nvidia, jobs data, markets wrap. Alphabet rallies after Berkshire real stake, why Buffett's firm likely bought. Yeah, so we can see it's mixed to bearish, but nothing is bullish, obviously, because the market is not really going up. So articles can't write anything about the markets being bullish. People would be like, that makes no sense. And then also, if the market's in a sell signal, then generally the people that control the markets, like banks, the big guys, they're most likely betting bearish. So it's always in the news organization's best interest, or well, let me rephrase that. If I was the person that controlled the stock market and I was betting things down, then I would love for the news to be bearish, not bullish. You know what I mean? So um, it's very frequent that we see the stock market news change with the SMA system. If the SMA system is bullish, news goes bullish. If the SMA system goes bearish, news goes bearish. Whether that's those that are just printing articles about markets going up or going down, who knows? But it's crazy because they do flip right about the same time. It's almost like it's a perfectly designed system. I was kind of hoping one day like Polymarket or Kalshi, some of these new predicting betting markets would introduce a way to predict if the news is going to be bullish or bearish, or like kind of when the news will transition from bullish to bearish. Because I would be able to do a really good job at predicting that and probably make some extra dough doing that. So that was another thing I was hoping that they might introduce to some of the betting markets is, the timing or how to predict when news is going to be bullish or bearish predominantly. Because you already know, right? If the system is up, then the news is going to be positive. If the market's down, system's down, news is going to be negative. So I'm hoping there's a way they introduce that to be bet on in the poly market. But chances are it probably won't work that well because they're going to make a market for it. And every market that's made always has a spread, and the spread is set based off of preventing the easy win. Hmm. Really busy day here. Really busy. Hmm. Oh no, the market's still going down. Who? What? No. What are we ever gonna do? I mean, maybe if the stock market would just start, man, maybe if the people that write articles would start pumping positive news, maybe things would go up, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, definitely. But oh wait, that's right. They don't start releasing positive news articles until the SMA system flips positive. Oh. So I guess we can't count on positive news coming out because the system and the perfectly designed system isn't releasing positive news right now. We must wait for the system to turn positive before they'll start releasing new positive news, generally speaking. Oh. So I probably shouldn't hope for just random positive news. No, because it's always designed that the positive news comes out when or flips when the market changes to positive. Hmm. You know what I means, jelly beans? Man, we have 28 views on today's stream. We are absolutely crushing it, ladies and gentlemen. Love it. Let's go. By the way, the VIX is holding its 15-minute trend. That's what we talked about with top to market. If so, blah, 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 blah. So, again, guys, this is all pretty basic. Market's just going to be down until we're ready to go into a buy signal or until the VIX breaks down, and so on and so forth. I thought we might be able to time a little early one today with the 15-minute chart, but nope, that's exactly why I should know better. And again, it doesn't really matter. I mean, sometimes it works good, sometimes not, but either way. We're still just in the waiting game, letting the market go down. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Mm. Hmm. Wow. Exciting stuff. I know you guys wish I would say more, but not a bunch to say today's. Caleb, yeah, I'm sorry if I was at 10:42, it was only 2 minutes ago. Yeah, Caleb, actually, well, the process should actually be automated now, but what is your Discord username? Let's see if I can. Oh, I see you messaged me that too. Okay, yep, I see it. And I just saw your friend request too. Yeah. So, Phantom is actually was working on automating Discord for us and said that it had been, I thought he said it had been fully automated. Let me double check with them before I kind of manually do your stuff because I don't want it to interfere with that. But, and if it is automated, I'm gonna figure out what the process would be for you to kind of do that. So yeah, give me just a few minutes. Perfect. Oh, to be honest, I'm gonna probably get to hop off here. I got a couple of random things to work on. Again, I know it's not really a fun day. I'm not really doing a whole lot over here. I'm actually kind of going through some emails, kind of some other work. But like I said, I'm just waiting for the next time to go along the market. And it's essentially, we bought a little bit today. Now we're just waiting to go swing along the market. We got to wait for this thing to go into a buy signal. Again, it's super straightforward, very, very simple. When the volatility index breaks down or the VVIX breakdown, we will start buying into the market a little bit more. We may not be into a buy signal yet, but if we start to see some early signals from the VIX or the VVIX, then we'll start going long into the stock market. And then hopefully that leads to a breakout, and then we can all cheer and giggle and laugh and watch the news flip positive. So hopefully that happens in a couple days. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Again, it's all about when the system says. It has nothing to do with me, nothing to do with you. When the market's ready, and it will tell us. So I'm gonna hop off here and handle a couple other email things. You guys have a great rest of your day. Don't do anything crazy. Just wait a little bit, and then we'll be back ripping along and having some fun.